Avalanche Studios, Avalanche Open World Engine. This is Generation Zero. So initial look at this, and there's in my opinion, there's a lot of skeptics going on around about this video game, and so I thought I would chime in with what my opinion is. This is basically me playing the game. This is my actual gameplay footage, and I'm just cycling through here to see what options are available. This is at the very beginning when you select your character and you choose his outfit, his or her outfit, and then you eventually start the game. And just as a side note, I don't play this with multiplayer. My sole intent is to play a single player game. And so, with that said, we'll get into it. So basically, this is your skill map. Now, if you look at this initially, you're going to realize that you start this game out with very little skills. I mean, you don't start the game out with a gun or anything. And so you got to go into it with the notion that this is going to take you some time to build up your skill tree in order to be able to take on the big, massive robots that eventually you'll at some point face. And so you basically start out, and they give you these breadcrumbs. If you look at the little icons, there's icons. Now, when I initially started playing this game, I didn't know what to look for, and so I saw those flashing lights of that cop car, and so I was naturally drawn to that. But as you'll see in this footage, as I go through here, you'll see that they actually have a breadcrumb, and so it's kind of foolhardy because I had already been to the squad car that's flashing light, but they eventually put a breadcrumb over it. So the game is kind of, about the best word I can come up with is unpolished. It's the very entry level, and this game is probably going to be similar to No Man's Sky in that they probably will update it from time to time. And so it's just, I mean, I read something somewhere where they said that it was going to be a labor of love, so to speak. And so you gotta kind of put that into context. It's like a mystery type game, and so your whole purpose is to explore and find out why these robots are taking over the world, so to speak. And so they leave you these breadcrumbs in the form of a diagonal type square, and it's only until this point of the game that I actually realize that they do that, because I mean you have no information of that going into the game to know what to look for. And so it's only after playing it for a few minutes that I discover that. And so they kind of do point you in a way. I mean, it is an open world game to where you can pretty much go anywhere, and then once you explore various areas, and then you trigger things, and then it tells you where to go. But you don't necessarily have to go in any order. They don't force you. At least, well, they kind of do and kind of don't. It's really kind of difficult to explain. I mean, you'll see it as you progress through it, because when you open up the map, they have a cordoned off area to where you can only go to a certain area on the map, and then eventually the map expands out, and you'll see that as time progresses. I'm not really going to divulge a whole lot in the way of spoilers. There is a spoiler coming up that but I warn you far in advance to where you can skip ahead. You don't necessarily have to show it. And so going through here, it's, in my opinion, it's kind of clunky. I mean, it's not. And this is playing the game. I'm on Xbox One playing this game. And so it's about the best I can describe it is the interface is clunky. You got to realize I've been playing No Man's Sky, and I've recently taken a break from that game because there's another major download that's going to be coming out sometime in the summer of this year. And so I decided to take a break from that game and play some other newer games that are coming out, and this was one of them. And so I thought, because this is a similar game to No Man, well, it's not similar. It's similar in the sense that it's somewhat of a survival game. I mean, they put you somewhere, and there's been a lot of talk that, this is more multiplayer, that you'll have a hard time, but I haven't found that to be the case. I mean, there's scenarios in here where, yeah, you're going to die a lot. If you're playing single player, because, obviously, the more people you have, once you get to those bigger robots, the more people you have, the better your chances of survival. But with that said, the robots are so much more powerful than you. I think even if you have 3 or 4 people in your group, I still think it's going to be a challenge. Some of these robots are just, extremely insane. And but anyways, realize that I'm playing this Xbox One version before any patches. I'm in the process of downloading a patch now, so my opinion may change a bit. Once I install the patch and start playing it again. And I'm probably at this point, well, not at this point in the video, but where I'm at currently playing the game, I'm probably maybe 15 hours in. So you got to play it at least that amount of time, and is it perfect? It's perfect in the sense that, if you view it as a hunting game, meaning, you go out, you go hunting. If you've ever been hunting for real before, you understand that, when you go out and you go hunting, you don't necessarily find something to shoot at every time you go out hunting. And so if you put it in that regard, the pace is somewhat slow. It can be slow at certain points, but this basically brings you into a deeper realm when things do heat up. Spoiler ahead, Skarven Command Bunker. Spoiler. If you do not want to see this, please skip ahead to 9 minutes 22 seconds. So this is the spoiler for the Skarven Command Bunker. This is your last opportunity to skip to 9:22, otherwise you're going to see the spoiler. And basically I just stumbled across it, and then eventually you'll find this bunker that's got gas. It's got a gas chamber down in the basement. And I even tried this. They give you a gas mask, and the gas mask didn't do anything. So I don't know if that was a bug or if it was intended to do that. But I have these adrenaline sticks, so it's very important that you have adrenaline sticks. If you don't have, I would say, at least 5 or 6, you probably are going to be disappointed, because if you don't get in there to click that button, then all the chambers, all the doors to the chambers won't be unlocked. That's the whole purpose of getting in there, is to click that button, so it unlocks all the chambers. The gas does not dissipate, as far as I can tell. And so these adrenaline sticks are important in that, if you don't have any and you die, the game will penalize you and make you spawn at a safe house that's been unlocked. So if you don't have a close by safe house, then they're basically penalizing you via time. And there's going to be some other tips that I've got coming out in the next couple of videos that I'll go over, alternative ways, strategizing ways that you can avoid the penalty, because there are methods that you can use, and I'll go over those in upcoming videos. And so as you'll see, once I get out of this gas-filled torture chamber, you'll see that the rooms, and there's actually more than one, but I just show one in the video. You'll see that it's unlocked, but it actually opens up all of them, and then you can go in and figure out what's left in there, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. I think one of my most favorite aspects of this game is that it's described as a cat and mouse game, and I think, from the perspective of toying with the mechanical villains of the game, it's true in that regard. And the thing is that cats are often fooled, and I think that is another attribute. So I don't know if it's a bug that you're able to distract the mechanics, and I almost think that it partly might be designed that way. I really don't know. But there's been some writing from the developers in that it's a cat and mouse game. You're basically playing cat and mouse with the robots. And I think probably the best thing that I like about this game is that there are certain modes of brilliance where the AI will basically hunt you. And in terms of the AI isn't like perfect. I mean, you could classify them as bugs. I mean, you could classify them as, I don't know what you could I mean, it's AI, so, does it have full on intelligence, or, is their intelligence, they think it's better than you. But there's certain elements of brilliance in this game, in that, you at certain points in the game become hunted. And so they do a really good job of that in certain instances. Is it perfect? No. But I would say that is probably my most enjoyable thing, is when the robots actually join together and hunt me. And there's methods that you can use to hide from them. So, just because you're single player, yada, 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 so on and so forth, there's methods that you can use, such as crouching and, running. And, you got to use everything to your advantage, because it's in the term of a hunting type game. You're hunting for secrets, you're hunting for clues, you're hunting the robots are hunting you. So you have to put all of this into context to basically like this game. If you don't enjoy hunting, if you've never been hunting before, it may take a lot of perseverance for you to like this game, because there's a lot of dull periods where you're walking through the woods or you're walking through a field and there's nothing around, and then all of a sudden you hear some noise clunking around, and in some cases the noises are profound, and so it makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And so you gotta take it for what it is, and the lulls in the game are supposed to make the fear that more profound. And so I think that if you ever decide to buy this game, you've got to go into it thinking that, there's going to be a lot of lulls, because you're looking for secrets, clues, so on and so forth. And then the mixed in part of all that is dealing with the robots. And at some points in the game, they will actually turn on and try to hunt you, because essentially that's what they're doing. When you stumble upon them, a lot of times they're hunting around, checking to make sure if there's anybody there. And so it's a really unique game. I mean, there's certain circumstances that I like to compare to, like Far Cry, Crisis. There's certain attributes to it that kind of remind me of that, but not really, because it's a robot game. And so there's really not much to compare it to. And so that was another reason why I bought it, was because I'm tired of playing the same old game. If you like the same old game, well, go buy the same old game. The game that, spawns military personnel and so on and so forth. But, if you're tired of the same old, then this may fit the mold. So if anything, this video is just really just to, tell you about the game and my own personal opinion. There's a lot of negative opinions about this game, and, and I can see kind of, where they're coming from. But, it's a game. And, there's a lot of unique things to it. This was a very fun sequence right here. I thought, wow, this game's not going to really be that hard, because this was pretty easy. But that was wrong in thinking that. Thanks for watching the video. Mental Vacation, out. Brought to you by Mental Vacation, in association with Ray TV.